Well, hello, Sarah, and thank you for joining us today. And well, thank you ever so much because your experiences mean a lot to other customers and sharing them. We've had lovely feedback that other customers enjoy hearing other people's dreams and experiences. So you had an extension you did ages ago,
It
and
was.
yeah, yes. Can you tell me about what this was and how you use the space?
So we bought this house 30 years ago, and I remember it was exactly 30 years because I was pregnant with my second child, who was almost about to be born. And we bought the house, had an extension done because the kitchen space was really quite small, and the builders were getting worried because I was getting bigger and bigger. And I said, this extension's got to be finished by the time this baby's born. So 30 years ago, we had the kitchen extended and a conservatory added on. And we had two roof light lanterns put in. They were designed by an architect friend of ours. And they were big roof lanterns that let in lots of light. And we had blinds at the time put on them because we're south facing. But after 30 years, the roof lanterns were leaking and had been repaired a bit, and the blinds were looking a bit shabby. So we decided to have a complete refurb and replace the roof lanterns. And then, of course, look at how we were going to deal with the issue of the light coming in from the south. So we were looking for roof blinds.
Yes, and so what did you go for in terms of the new roof lanterns?
So we went for something more modern and streamlined, which we're very pleased with. Um, and they definitely sort of improved the look in the space. But we felt that, we needed to get something suitably good in the way of blinds to sort of, work with the roof lanterns. Although we went for glass that did have some sort of thermal reduction properties, it was not going to be enough to block out the intense light and heat and things and the build up that we found that we got in the conservatory space.
Mm. Oh, fantastic. And well, I love the story about getting this extension finished whilst your bump was getting bigger and the extension was getting bigger. Fantastic. So what options this time round, 30 years on, did you look at
Well,
for shading?
interesting. Yeah, it was really interesting because, of course, 30 years on, there were more options available and very things that were not remotely available 30 years ago. But we quickly decided that we liked the idea of electrically operated sort of horizontal ones, really, rather than previously we'd had ones that fitted the shape of the window, which looked a bit messy and didn't really work very well. And the idea of something horizontal that sort of met in the middle and we could stop it halfway or have one side open or another side, those sorts of options just were going to work better with the new style lanterns. And we were also wanting something to replace the vertical blinds that we've got, because we get a lot of light coming in. When the sun's lower in the sky, we get a lot of light coming into the conservatory from the windows and the doors. So we wanted to something for that as well.
Yes. And did you look at a number of options? Obviously, we're delighted you came to window treat, of course. But
I do,
what's your
yeah.
preference?
I always look at other options. I always consider other things and look at pricing. But I think at the end of the day, we wanted something that was going to look good, and work. And we felt that the options available with window treat certainly sort of ticked all those boxes.
Well, thank you. What was the difference that made you sort of take that leap?
I think the range of options for materials and colours. I think there was a good range both for the vertical and the horizontal lines, both in terms of colours and different types of light blocking. We didn't need to have a dark room. We didn't want to just have a very thin protection. We wanted the choice of being able to decide what was going to suit our needs. And I think we felt was much wider range of options of fabrics and things. And the mechanism seemed to be good. Having looked at some of your other videos and sort of from other customers, that was very helpful in making a decision actually, to see how other people felt the blinds had worked in their space. Yeah.
Yeah. And you went for a metallized fabric in a pearl color underneath. So,
Yes.
so one that's absolutely fantastic at rejecting the solar energy, so the sun's energy, the heat.
Yes.
That's light through.
Yeah, exactly. So we've had them in place for a little while, and it's only in the recent weeks and months when the sun started getting more intense and higher in the sky that they're really coming into their own. And we wanted to be able to reflect the heat of the sun as much as possible, not just the glare, because we were having issues with both. And we felt that sort of metallized top bit really helped reflect. And looking at the properties in the documentation, the literature that I got from Chris and so on, it was useful to have all the figures to see how much sun was reflected and how much was absorbed and how much was transmitted and so on. I liked having all that information because it helped me make a decision. And we were really pleased with the balance of how much light comes in and how much heat is sort of sent back up. So it was a good balance for us.
Yes. And how do you find the process with Chris? It sounds like you love the numbers and the facts to help you
Mm,
make your decision. And
yeah.
so you had I presume, a video call with Chris.
Yeah, and he'd prepared a really good presentation based on what I said I was looking at, and he used the pictures of our existing sort of setup and what the options might be. So that video presentation initially was really helpful, together with various links he gave me to the different material options, and and also obviously being able to look online at your website to see the information you gave there. And I found that all really helpful. And then, of course, I had some samples sent of the different fabrics. And again, that was really helpful because you could hold them up to the window and sort of see how much light was coming through and get a sense of how they would really look like in situ. So the samples were really helpful as well.
Yes. Did you see any other samples besides ours, Sarah?
I did actually. I think I did. Yes. And again, there just wasn't the sort of range of choice I felt in terms of the different options for blocking out the light and so on. And there was quite a good range of colours because we were going to have the room decorated as well and go for a slightly different change of colour theme. So we wanted the colour to sort of match with the new decor in the room. So we didn't want to just go for a sort of a white or a beige or something. We wanted something that was going to fit better. So yeah, the samples were really helpful.
Yeah, and I'm just going to draw attention to the fact where with the sample, the fabric is absolutely key, and
Mm,
because the blind goes horizontally, of course, and there's a lot of force on a lot of tension on the blind. It's important the fabric is really robust to avoid this what I call smiley face syndrome of like a
yeah,
crescent shape appearing after a year or two.
yeah, yeah. And because we were having the vertical blinds as well, we didn't necessarily want the same fabric for those, but we wanted something that was going to match and look good together. So again, having samples for the vertical blinds as well as the horizontal ones meant that we could sort of see how the two were going to work together.
And what sort of controls and did you go for? And was it battery or mains?
So the ceiling ones, the two roof lanterns, we went for mains electricity, which we sort of already had suited. We had a well with the electrician worked well with Martin, the fitter, to make sure we got the right setup for that. But on the vertical blinds, we went for battery operated because we didn't want to have too much clutter with electric power motors and things. And we're really pleased with the way it's all worked out, really. And we've got nice, neat little controls that we use to open and shut them. And it's great to just be able to open and shut them at the touch of a button and stop them halfway if we want to. And yeah, that really pleased with the mechanism. Because before we had the vertical blinds on little pulleys, and the roof lantern ones we had to hook with a long hook on a pole, which was a real pain. So having electric operated was really great. Yeah,
It's a game changer, isn't it?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So the blinds were installed. How did you find the team and the installation?
Yeah, really good. The two guys that did the fitting and came back to tweak a few bits were really good, really helpful. Wanted to make sure we got everything how we wanted it. Really good. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And could I ask, have you experienced the difference between, when the sun is out? Do you notice the difference? Is it what you want hoped for?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely creates the effect that we wanted. It sort of cuts out the light, but not too much, and it certainly cuts out the heat intensity. In the kitchen, well, in both areas, we've got furniture and stuff that we don't want to be bleached by the sun, and because we're south facing, because we've got the roof lanterns, the sun does come in really intensely, and it's really nice to be able to just block it out when it's really at its peak, and not have it sort of bleaching everything sort of 12 hours a day or for however long the sun's out.
Of course, you went for a twin that meets in the middle.
We
So,
did a big roof lantern, yes. We just went for a single one in the kitchen, but in the big one we've got a twin. So if we only want one half open because the sun's just coming from one direction, then we just open one half. So it gives us the flexibility of having it all covered or one half at a time.
yeah,
Yeah,
you find that useful.
really. Yes, definitely. Yeah, because the sun isn't always in the same part of the room all the time. And sometimes it's nice to have a bit more light coming in. And you don't need the shade from the sun if it's not in the right, if it's not shining in the wrong bits of the room.
So if I summarize that, because that's really important, just to draw out the point. So you want to maybe allow more light in. You don't have a glare issue particularly, but you want to block the sun's heat,
Yeah.
which might be hitting you directly.
Yeah. I mean, even sitting at the table where I'm sitting now, the dining table, if we're sitting here in the daytime, the sun can be in somebody's face. So we can just put the blind across enough to just shield that, protect that, but still have lots of nice light coming into the room. So we've got that flexibility. Yeah.
Mm. Well, that's amazing. We're almost done, Sarah. It's lovely. It's such a joy to talk with you. But uh, the, so if we look at I guess this is $1 million question. Would you recommend window treats to friends and family?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Oh, that's music to my ears. And my last question is, can we see the blind?
Oh, yeah, I can give you a little demonstration. Let me just turn the camera around. Okay, so I'm in the room at the moment and I've got the roof blinds shut because it's quite bright. And if I just open those, you can see both of them opening together. And I can do them individually if necessary, but that's both of them opening together, and I'll just stop that whenever I want to. And then on the verticals they're up at the moment because I don't need them down, but if I wanted a bit of privacy, I can start putting them down. Again, I can stop them whenever I want to. And I can also operate them individually, 1, 2, 3, or all at the same time. And I can just stop those when I want to and take them back up again. And that's just all very easy to operate. And then in the kitchen area, where we've got them over see how it's quite bright, the sun's coming in there. I mean, it's late in the day now, so it's not as bright as it was, but that can sometimes really shine and heat up the surfaces a bit more than I'd like. So I can just get the controls for that, and I can just shut that here. Now that's a single one, so it's just coming from one end. And we were really pleased with how the operation, the mechanism's really neat. Doesn't really detract from the nice shape of the lantern, and at that end where it goes across just looks very neat, and it does the job of blocking all the light, but you can still sort of see the sky through it, but it certainly takes all the heat out of the sun and means that we don't get lots of sunshine on the kitchen table and things. So there you go.
Well, thank you ever so much, Sarah, for sharing this and the stories, how you went about it. I think this is the first time I've had a chat with a customer, which is a project over 30 years described.
Great.
Well, and well, enjoy that. And obviously, if there's ever any issue, just give us a call.
Okay, lovely. Thanks a lot. Nice to talk to you anyway, Steve. Thanks.